Now I'm going to demonstrate a process I call strip wrapping with insert. We're going to wrap strips of paper around the cube and insert them into pockets in the cube. This will give protection to the cube and more functionality. Once you have done strip wrapping, you can then add other things to give the cube different appearances. You can actually use sheets of paper like this, or you could use sheets of plastic. This plastic is transparency film. Comes in sheets of paper or sheets of plastic that are 8.5 by 11. You can cut them into this length strip. The length of the strip should be slightly smaller than the width of the cube. This is so that it will easily insert into the pockets that are available on the cube. The length of the strip are two different lengths. The first length is equal to approximately 5 lengths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lengths of the cube. It can be slightly larger for this cube. For the cube that I use on my other puzzles, the pleated cube, it has to be slightly less than 5 lengths. The second strip will be slightly more than 4 lengths. We begin with a longer length first. We're going to begin with the very middle cube. This particular cube right here that has the two outside cubes attached. And we're going to find a pocket that we can insert this into. And we want to go down about halfway into the pocket. So about half a length of the cube down in. Perhaps a little bit less. It's better to have more paper left at the end than at the beginning. So slightly less than half is better than slightly more than half. We wrap all the way around the cube, going back to the beginning. When I get back to the beginning, I fold it down and form an overlap. I then go back and pinch the edges. A squared off strip will adhere better than one that is rounded around the edges. So try to square off the edges whenever possible. Finally, simply slip the remaining end into the pocket you began with. Make sure it goes all the way down, and it should fit as snugly as possible. If not, remove it and try to tighten it up a little bit so it's as snug as possible. Next, we're going to create a strip around the other direction, and I want to cover these two blank sides. And I'm going to begin at the pocket that is formed where I actually inserted the hinge. In this case, I've used ribbon, so it's the place where the ribbon is inserted into the cube. And I insert one end down into the pocket, again going a little bit less than halfway. You notice that it's a little bit easier to insert it if you first slip the tip of the strip in and then work the rest of it down in there. Remember to go a little bit less than halfway. Go all the way around, covering the other edge and up to the next edge. This final step is a little tricky. Remember, you want to square off the edges as much as possible, making it as snug as possible. Finally, slip that last end into the remaining pocket. You will find you want to put the pointed end down in first, then work the remaining edge all the way into the pocket and round it around, and don't square it off until you get as much of the paper as possible into that pocket. Once you achieve that, square it off again. And that completes wrapping that cube. Now that cube is securely wrapped, and it's much less likely to come apart. we can actually attach tiles to this one, even though it's not clear. If we use clear paper, then we can put the tiles underneath the pocket. That will be our final step.